BluntCut MetalWorks, December 20th, 2023. These are specimen for a square notch impact toughness testing. Square because you can see that this is just a band saw blade cut. The distance here should be about close to 8 millimeter or something compared to V-notch. Here what the V-notch look like, and 8 millimeter height here. The notch is 2 millimeter deep, and there are radius right here on the V, 0.25 millimeter. It's a square. When you have a square notch, then you have two 90-degree point where the crack can propagate. So the severity is about the same. The fact that if you strike on here, then this part going to stretch or bend in a convex manner, and which then the crack will propagate and will break the specimen. So I tested with the V-notch before and against the square notch. The result pretty similar. So for convenience, these are the ones that I use, and all the results that I saw, they are square notch. And because the cut here not precise, and so all of these numbers are going to be normalized to 2.5 by 8 millimeter of this. And these are the standard. The thickness is 10 millimeter, and this specimen is about between 2.5 to 3 millimeter or something like that, or sometimes a little less, like 10, like 01 here is a little less. Okay, jump right into the result. Okay, here's the result. And the error margin for these numbers is about plus or minus half a foot-pound. So, because, and for the test compliance to Sharpie is not as important, because all the specimen here, the tested specimen, we're using the same vertical impactor. So therefore, the result is relative to each other. So the number can be, I mean, if you're using the pendulum, the number can be up or down. But again, I mean, a little bit higher precision, and that's why they might have tighter, say, or lower error margin, that's all. And I include these older tests, which again normalized to the new 2.5 to the 8 millimeter. And so these are hardness. And here is the control. Control meaning that I, like here the 1095, I austenize at 1475 for about 20 minutes, quench in parts 50, and cool it to room, and then go into the freezer for about 30 minutes. And after that, the temper at 400 degrees. So what I end up with is 63 Rockwell. And I got 4 samples here. And the result is half a foot-pound. And obviously, I mean, the error margin would be, probably a little tighter for this one. I mean, I said half a pound error margin I mentioned earlier. is for something with a bigger number, but this thing is because it obviously cannot be 0. So, and so half foot-pound for that. And then I did an enhanced control, meaning that I take some aspect of BCMW and get minimal aspect of it and put into the control. And so for 63.5 here, you can see that I have 1.6 foot-pound, which is easily 3 times over the standard control. These control, all of these specimens here, Austin and I purchased as I acquired the material, buy from Alpha Knife Supply, and so therefore I did not. This doesn't involve grain refinement. For grain refinement specimen or thermocycle, I will do it later. Anyway, so that the number there, and then here is the supposed to be a golden here, the really super tough steel with the 8670 here, and Austin and I at 1550 Fahrenheit, soak for 15 minutes, quench in part 50s, freezer, and temper at 375. And indeed, you can see at 62 Rockwell here, the number is 1.9 foot-pound. That is really good. But looking up here is for enhanced control. It actually maybe it's about the same for 62 Rockwell, probably have the same as the 62 8670. So keep that in mind. And there is an 01 control. Austin and I at 1500 degree, soak 15 minutes, quench in parts 50, go to the freezer, and then temper at 300 degree. There's something a little off. The hardness only reached 61 Rockwell. At any rate, the result is 1.4 foot-pound. So it's a lot quite higher than, 61 Rockwell though, compared to the 1095 here. Now let's looking at the BCMW, BluntCut MetalWorks, a 1095 here. And the first time I did this myself, this control go along with this set here, this one. So for this one, I usually looking for super tough, basically for using as a cold cutting tool, and I shoot for 60 or some, and I would only 56 Rockwell, and I got a lot of those samples. And so anyway, the test is 3.6 foot-pound. Well, compared to, this is really low Rockwell. Anyway, let's skip to the next one. It's more interesting here. So you can see all these numbers here. Anyway, from 61.5 all the way to 64. But look at all the number here. So, and now compare 63 here, a 2.6 foot-pound versus the control. Half a foot-pound, 2.6. That is 5 times higher. And even compared to 65.5 here, 2.5 foot-pound here, compared to even the enhanced one, it's still higher. And for 62 Rockwell, let's say let's use 62.5 here at 2.8 compared to 8670, come out at 1.9 foot-pound. And this thing is 2.8 or something. So in other words, let's say it's 50% higher. at some known high toughness steel here. I will address the 62 Rockwell here because I will use an external source to put everything in context. And 8670, let's look at that. So 62 and 62 here. I got 3 foot-pound here. Obviously, BluntCut MetalWorks process here is, again, about 33% higher, or a little bit, maybe 35% higher. So it's not multiple times, but higher than this. And for 01 against 01, and somehow this number, I do feel that even though I test 3 samples, I got a little high compared to this, but I think this number, so for 01 here, I got 2x. So this number among here is really high. But again, this thing at 61 Rockwell. So it's not that far from 1085 at 61, say. At this 61, maybe this thing is 3.3 or something, but this is 3.9. And then the latest sample, again, each of these days I use different parameter. So that's why sometimes you see the number jumping around. But for here, from the 1212, 2.6, and here 1218, I got 2.7. So that totally within error margin. But again, you got the number is high up there. I mean, you can take the low number, and then, but interestingly, I got the one, let's say, at 65 Rockwell also, at 2.1 Rockwell. Now, go back to compare with the 1085 control at half, 0.5 or half of a pound, foot-pounds. So this thing at 65 Rockwell is still going to be 400% higher impact toughness than the simply control. And at 65 here, it pretty much is better than 8670 control. Or let's say within error margin, so maybe they're the same. Okay, that's good. So now for context, I want to bring in Larry Thomas chart, and then I will jump back to this spreadsheet. So I remove here from knife, steel knife, here the complete link, and I remove the actual foot-pounds here. So this is just, you can see the comparison among different steel. And now I jump to the, suppose I say golden standard for the 8670 here. And this number, since he didn't have, is really high. It's higher than 80 CRV at this point. And even though it's nosedive here, let's say it didn't go straight line down. Let's say, to be just reasonable, let's say it assumed 80 CRV2 curve. And so for 62 Rockwell, for the 62 Rockwell of this control right here, right? So 1.9. So let's map it. So BCMW 62 control, let's map it to this point right here, right? 1.9. And now at 62, 8670, but this thing for unknots. But I'm saying it, these are knots and unknots, they are relative to each other. So now I just going to map it to a knot one, but however, the toughness supposed to be your toughness. The geometry of the specimen should still reflect the toughness, relative toughness to each other, right? So it's 1.9 here. But for 65 Rockwell, 1095, it's right here. It's higher, right? And if for 62 Rockwell, 2.8. 62, 2.8 instead of 1.9 here, at 2.8 would be somewhere up here, right? And at the for the same thing, 1095 way up here. And now compared to 8670 BCMW protocol, it's equal to 3 foot-pounds. This should be up here. So you can see from here, you can see compared to 1085, the standard heat treat control is very brittle and very low. And so, and the 8670 do a lot better. But with the BluntCut MetalWorks protocol, a lot of number are up in this range. When the 1095, 01, not down here. They all up here. And so then the obvious question, why not use 8670 for everything? Well, 8670 is have a more, let's say they have a little bit more, the composition is a little tiny bit more stuff in it, more element of stuff. I mean, like different kind of element in it. While you can have a very simple steel, like 1085. 01 is, composition is also a little, have some alloy. That's why they call all low alloy here. But the more alloy element you put in it, and then it's harder to make bulk steel. That's why in order to do bulk steel and bigger object, then you want simpler steel rather than, and also you can deal with the thermal cooling, and also you have to concern with dimension stability. So I will do, next I'm going to add some more specimen for 1085 and 80 CRV2 and 2063. And let me see. Yeah, basically they are the three, but they all will be with grain refinement. And they're going to have a complete combination between all these parameters of all these set together. And we'll see how much, whether, I guess, we have advantage or higher performance or not. If they don't give higher performance, then we'll cut back and have a less parameter. That means we'll have quicker to conduct, the protocol, hardened protocol. All right, thanks for watching.